Welcome to the Whiskey Vault.
I'm Daniel.
I am Rex.
We have a series of 3 videos we're going to shoot right now.
Okay.
All of them Brendan Kite. There was up to almost 40 donated bottles. Because, holy shit.
Yes.
And he's no Peter Golden. These are all top notch.
He's a man of taste and sophistication.
Yeah. Among many other things. But this is the Paul John, A Gift from the Titan, Brendan
Daniel in the
Kite.
distance, do you hear that?
I hear it.
Could it be?
It must be! Brendan Kite!
Cheers, you magnificent bastards.
So this is the Christmas edition that Paul John releases.
Yes.
This is 2019's version.
Who's Paul John?
Paul John's the Indian distillery.
Oh.
We've done it. We've liked most things we've tried from Paul John.
Yeah.
We have several others we could pull and compare it to if we want.
Sure.
Um,
Amaret is the most one. I think it's the
well, I mean,
biggest.
that's just another Indian.
Isn't that the biggest one? I don't know.
Amaret?
The Indian scene, I'm vaguely aware of. Like, what's big, what's small, who's
Right.
doing sourcing, who's...
Paul John is in Goa, India. Let's see, what other Paul Johns do we have? Oh, great. They're all in the tall section. They're all in the back of the tall section.
The adult section.
That's just rude.
Adult.
Oh, we've got like 2 or 3.
Hey, name this reference. Ready?
Okay.
Call it Friendo.
Friendo? I don't know Friendo. Frendo's where you lost me. What is it?
Snow Country for Old Men.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Right.
Yeah, it's way too
I look like a murderer.
way too violent.
All right. That's not gratuitous.
What is your definition of gratuitous?
There's not even like splatter. It's fine.
No, it's
fine.
mentally violent as much as it is like it's not blood. This is not like Quentin Tarantino.
Right.
It's just stressful. Movies
But
like
you
that
haven't
are
even
stressful.
seen it. How do you know?
I saw the preview and that was enough. I'm out.
I want a list of all the movies that you haven't seen because you thought they were going to be.
Oh, it's much
Outside.
longer than the list of movies I have seen. That we don't have time for that shit.
Because I could change your life. There's probably several films on this list of yours.
I don't trust your recommendations.
Based on what?
The other things that you've said I really dig.
Like,
That I'm like, there's no way.
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like what?
Oh, that we still haven't even talked about the whiskey. Why is this about a movie? We're crawling in on
you
3.5
have You have
minutes.
besmirched my good name. I am very conscientious about recommending the right movies and TV shows for the right person.
Okay.
Where have I steered you wrong?
Maybe you haven't steered me wrong. Maybe it's that I've heard you talk glowingly about things I know I don't like, but I wasn't counting on you for a recommendation in that circumstance.
No. I would not ever tell. Like, this is. We'll get to it.
Is that fair?
We'll get to it. Like, this was very annoying to me in college. In
Wow,
college.
I've really opened up something here.
No, in college. I'm flashing back to a specific moment where this couple, they're friends of mine since like junior high, and I was talking about a movie, Being John Malkovich. It's like a weird,
It is
trippy
weird.
movie. And I was talking about how weird and quirky and trippy. It's very original in its scope and execution. And all they heard was, wow, this sounds like a great movie. And at any point, if they would have said, so should we see this? I would have said, no, you're not Being John Malkovich people. Under no way, in no way, shape, or form should you see this movie. You're the romantic comedy people. Don't go see this movie. Of course, they see the movie. It's like, dude, that movie you told us to see sucked. I didn't tell you.
I didn't do that.
It's fine.
I'm the rom-com guy too, though. I like rom-coms.
Yeah, that's why I need to improve you, and that's how
No.
co-hosts work. I think it's my duty as a co-host to improve your taste in movies.
That's fair.
It's like a dysfunctional marriage.
Yeah.
How do I fix
It's my
you?
duty to fix you. Yeah, we've got you almost there.
Okay.
All right, so Paul John,
We really need to get to the whiskey.
this is the
Going off
sixth
on
largest whiskey brand in the world.
Kansas, very-
Founded in 1996, the year I started my senior year of high school.
Okay. I'm getting like a vegetal nose.
Oh yeah, absolutely earthy. But you know what there is? There's a mustiness that's coming from the sherry cask. This is Pedro Jimenez, but it's also lightly peated whiskey.
That's gonna be
5-year-old bourbon cask,
Yeah.
and then finished for 2 years in PX Pedro Jimenez sherry. So this is Christmas.
Which one is the dark fruity sherry?
That's Pedro.
I'm not getting dark fruit though.
I think the peat is eclipsing the dark fruit right now.
I think so too.
But here's what I want to say is,
'Cause-
if someone tasked me,
A musty, malty earthiness
Yeah.
along with this vegetal note.
if someone tasked me with use malt to create a Christmas whiskey, I would probably do this. Like really light smoke, and then sherry cask for the dark fruits.
Right.
And then the malt vegetal note for like the heft and the bready notes. I don't know if I would make this whiskey, but I would have started with what they started with.
Okay.
If someone said we're going to use bourbon cask and finish in sherry lightly peated,
Yeah.
I would have been like, we could definitely make a Christmas whiskey with that. I don't know if this achieved it,
Right.
but I get where they're going.
Okay, so on paper, that's what you would have done. I say
Mm-hmm.
in the glass, it's not what I would imagine a quote unquote a Christmas.
It's
whiskey
not
would be.
as fruity as I would hope. It's way more dry wood, like a wood pile.
Yeah, it's like almost the damp wood after a rain, a little bit of the petrichor in there, but specifically the like fallen trees that have been there, they've been dried out for years and years, and they get wet. You get that kind of damp earthiness.
Live in that nose for 3 or 4 inhales. It switches into chocolate and plum mixed together. Dark chocolate and plums.
Oh yeah, it gets a little plummy. That's where the sherry starts to show up a little bit.
It takes a second.
Yeah.
This is 46%. Ooh, that's way more smoky than I would have thought it was going to be based on the smell. You did it again. Hey, look, I've started doing it. Uh-oh, it's contagious.
Is it always? I feel like it's always the right way.
Yeah, it's well, you face in,
Right.
Because camera angle and it's probably natural framing.
I just want to look at you. Hello.
How's the 6? Coming back to it gets more phenolic after you take a sip.
It really does. It wakes up. What is the right word for this presentation of smoke?
It really is like you just put out a campfire.
It's dry. It's not savory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you put it out, and so it is.
the dampness. That damp earth still clings to the smoke as it's starting
It's
to.
a weird combination of dry wood, damp earth.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't dislike it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's probably a lot of people that are looking for something a little bit more, obviously sweet and desserty or fruity.
Can you reach up behind the blue Officer's Choice bottle on the top and grab the Paul John that's immediately behind it?
Now,
I think this is a more reasonably accessible one.
speaking of Officer's Choice, I think that is one of the biggest, if not the biggest,
Yeah.
sellers in India.
Yeah, well, in the world. So this is just their single malt, right? More of a classic thing. This will be more accessible if you can get.
Thank you, friendo.
And
Okay, yeah, that's going to be more familiar territory.
Yeah.
A little more casually familiar.
oh, more lemon and citrus. This is not even close to the same whiskey. I was thinking that might be some kind of A/B comparison, but
Right.
no, absolutely not.
This is definitely more sweet. You got some vanilla.
You got powdered sugar. Mm-hmm. You got citrus.
Yeah, I wouldn't even, on a blind, I wouldn't choose this as the same distillery.
No, me either. I would choose this as a scotch.
Yeah.
A blend. I would choose it as a blended scotch.
Okay.
Because it feels a little thin. Like in the palate, it feels a little bit brittle.
It's 46%.
Yeah. But not thin, like it's like shiny, brittle thin. Mm-hmm. Right?
So, this tastes like I've had
Honey
this
vanilla.
a bunch of times.
Yeah.
This is more unique, but I think it's just easier, more casually, more effortlessly enjoyable flavor set on.
The more classic release of their stuff.
But neither one, you know what it is? It's the finish that just kind of leaves me hanging a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I say that's where it gets paper thin, which is what makes me think it's a blend, even though it's not.
Yeah.
It makes me think it's a blend.
Yeah, it's a bit thin, and then the flavor that stays with me, it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
It's
I can't believe.
almost a tannin note.
I wonder if it's the proofing down that lost the mid palate for me, because they have a climate that's hot, right? They have a climate that's not like Texas, but it's closer to Texas than it is to Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
And still,
Was there any age statement information on?
no, well, 5 years, 2 years, so roughly 7 years old.
Okay.
But imagine a Texas whiskey that was 7 years old. It's going to be so dense, so
Yeah.
loaded, so oily, but this one has none of those things.
Which, though, I mean, even in Texas, though, right? Because it all comes down to the specifics of how you're actually executing the aging of those barrels. Because some barrel houses and some rooms, and it'll get like a tremendous amount of sun, and it just bakes for a lot longer. There's less insulation. The heat will ramp up quite a bit. In other places, it can be a warehouse, not even climate controlled, but maybe it's insulated walls, and maybe there's big trees that prevent a lot of that daytime sun from hitting that exterior and starting to warm up the interior.
So go as tropical heat. It can get up to 95 degrees Fahrenheit in the summers.
Yeah.
Or high 90s.
Yeah.
It has a hot and humid climate for most of the year. So it's closer to Houston,
Okay.
right?
I think the more interesting whiskey is this thing.
Yeah.
The more
Easier to drink.
easier to casually enjoy whiskey.
Yeah.
Is on right there.
Herb, herb, herb.
Tyler Brownfield. Pro tip. Turns out that rubbing a little bit of Ardbeg under your nose will mask the smell of your kid throwing up on your carpet.
I was like, it just reminds me of every cop show I've ever seen where they walk through the door and they grab some Vicks vapor rub, rub it on their lip. I was like, I've never tried that, but I have used whiskey to mask a room smell before.
Have you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I did it. I can't remember where I was, but there was somebody around me that had some like serious perfume, and I could smell it from like 15 people away at a bar.
Yeah.
And it was driving me nuts. And so I just did the hand rub, and I was by myself. I spent the whole time at the bar just sort of like, looks like I was praying. I just did this the whole time.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus, get this stinky person away.
Oh, do that with Christmas whiskey. That's amazing. Oh, wow, it turns into wood-burning kit wood mixed with damp earth and like decaying leaves. Really?
I'm airing out. Again, the mind in the gutter with you.
I used to be able to do that really well.
I actually get the darker sherry fruits.
At first, let it go a little bit.
It's a dried raspberry.
Yeah.
No, it's cranberry. It's a dried cranberry.
Yeah, explodes in fruit at first, but air out your hands a little bit and it gets drier and drier. Kind of nice. The windmill! The windmill!
That's the technique they teach you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a little bit. The dried cranberry is nice though. I wish I found a lot more of that on the taste. Brian Clausen. Rex has a signature move even more pronounced than the step back. The lean back with both arms raised. Yeah. Dan and Alex make fun of me for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be walking through the studio, I'll be in mid-sentence, and I'll get distracted. And then I'll pick up the sentence again. Yeah. We're broken. We're just a series of instincts and reflexes in autopilot.
And repeated phrases.
Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight me, fight for a friend.
Steal, may you steal your lover's heart.
And if you drink, may you drink with us.